welcome back to Scuff Box. I'm Lyndon Bitch and I'm joined today by Rob Ismay. Rob, how are you, mate?
How are you doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I want to go right back to the start of it. How did you first get into boxing?
Uh, oh, I think I was at school, and I got talked down to by a couple of kids that were older than us at the time. Who was supposed to be like rough kids in school. I didn't like it. And my dad first took us in the gym when I was like 10. I was just messing around. I wasn't really taking it serious. I wasn't training to compete in fights to box. But then around age 11, I think I was in I think it's year 7. So I got talked down to and I started then, and started training and had my first fight within like 6 months or something.
Well, after that first,
and took
after that first fight, how did the amateurs go?
It was very good, mate. I had a very it wasn't as productive as I would have liked. Because I had a limited amount of fights from boxing since I was 11, and then turned pro when I just turned 23, I think. So I should have had a lot more. But I was at the gym. I finished up with Berkeley. I ended up at Berkeley with like Tommy Ward and the McCormack twins, and like they were all juniors. And I was a senior at the time, like 2021. That's where I ended up. And if I'd started there, I would have won everything. I would have won ABAs, Tri-Nation. I mean, I got the semis of the ABAs and boxed Jose Burton, and he beat us 7-5. It was on the old point scoring system. And he was hammering everyone else. He beat a good kid called Carl Kirkham, southpaw, big tall southpaw. Say that over he's tall as well. But he was hammering them all, like beating them 22-7, like beating them by like 10 plus points, and he beat me by 2. So it was a hard pill to swallow, and he went on to win the ABAs. But I just I would have been a highly, highly decorated amateur if I'd started at Berkeley. But I ended up finishing my amateur career there, 4 or 5 years there, and was picked to box. I was picked to box for England before there was a GB squad. Do you know what I mean, mate? So for all Dacres has got this the Mr. GB, I was picked to box for England before there was a GB squad. You're talking like before it was when it was just being formed in Sheffield. Like I was picked to box for Denmark. Injury, I couldn't go through injury, and I decided to turn pro. I thought, to be honest, I didn't like the amateurs, mate. There's two, and it's like they're like 4-minute rounds, and like the referees are full of themselves. They think that I don't know how it is these days. I don't really follow the amateur scene, but it was just forever. Stop holding. Keep your head up. This, that, and the other. And it would just drag out, and you'd end up boxing like a 4-minute round. And I'm talking when it was I had to wear, it was obligatory to wear head guards. You had to wear head guards. They hadn't got rid of them then. Boxing in pillow 10-ounce gloves. Like the pro gloves now, the 10-ounce gloves. I'd rather be hit with a bare fist, mate. When you're getting hit with a bigger target. So, and I was as an amateur. I think I started at about, when I was a junior. I was a big boy anyway. So I was about 64. Then moved it quickly into 69 and finished my career as a middleweight at 75. And then I was a light heavyweight when I first turned pro.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I had a good amateur career and a good pedigree in the stable that was around us. Like I learned loads from Martin Ward, John Lewis Dickinson, Travis Dickinson, Gary Barr. Done hundreds of rounds of Gary Barr. Phenomenal fighter. Just and Craig Dixon, even Paul Dixon. Just there was a huge crop of talent at that time. And like I said, I got like that's why I think these haven't got a clue about me. These have picked me, saw an 11-0 record, and thought, he's a fat little cruiserweight. Like he's not really a heavyweight. He's not really a heavyweight. I've come out in interviews and said, I'm not a heavyweight because I'm not. You know, I look at that top 15. I've said it in previous interviews. I look at that top 15 and I go, I'm gonna beat him, I'm gonna beat him, and him. The rest are too big.
Yeah.
Like, can't do anything with them. But you know which one of them is one of the ones that I can beat?
Who? Go on.
Solomon Dacres.
Exactly, mate. But moving on, I want to move on to your pro debut because I was looking earlier and it was a pretty decent card in the Northeast. What was that pro debut like, mate? Because you only get it once.
Quite surreal, mate. It was my last amateur fight was against Jose Burton. So like it was like when you're an open class amateur, and especially when it was on the point scoring system, there's a lot of fencing, like setting traps. You're trying to work something out and trying to make your opponent fall into a trap or make a mistake to get to score a point. Whereas I got put into when I turned pro, I thought, oh, I'm a professional now. This is going to be hard. And I was through him with like a journeyman. And I remember hitting him with a jab. And he'd done like a Neo from the Matrix. Like went back like this. And I was like, well, that was easy. I don't know how's like I went from boxing Jose Burton to like the level of like obviously it was to develop my pro career on the way up.
Yeah.
But I should have stopped that kid. But out of sheer hesitancy, I was just hesitant to because if you did make those mistakes in the amateurs, you get punished.
Yeah.
So he was I was on a different planet to this kid I boxed, and I think he'd had 1 and drew, or 2, 1-1, drew 1, something like that, and it was just like shooting fish in a barrel. It was just that easy. But like I say, I didn't put my foot on the gas to get him out of there, and I should have.
Yeah.
The ones after that, I started blowing them away.
But I just want to move on and talk about the boxing scene in the Northeast because to have a next gen card in Newcastle, that speaks for itself. But a man from Newcastle, what do you think to the scene at the minute in boxing?
Well, it's brilliant because you've got all of the. Do you know who the one superstar that doesn't get enough credit? And he was a junior when I was a senior coming through. Tommy Ward. Tommy Ward is one of the best fighters in the world. Like not just the country, in the world. Like he's fighting for a world title, He's final eliminator on the 4th of March at the arena. I'll be there. I've been talking to him and that. But it was his brother Martin his older brother Martin that got us in. Like I learned loads of things from Martin.
Yeah.
And it was Martin that actually how I turned pro in the first place because I remember ringing him and saying, "Look, Martin, I'm set a box against Denmark. I'm injured. I can't. Like the season's going to be finished, and like I'm sick of this. I don't like that. I'm sick of this. I think I'll be more suited to the pros. Can I turn pro?" And he went, let's ring your back, brother. And he rang Neil Fannin, and Fannin went, bring him down, we'll have a look at him. And I remember he took us down, and I sparred 6-3s with Dave Dolan. But back then, I was quite a flighty amateur. Like, I had that amateur style, like flighty, like, boom, 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 get out, boom, 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 get out. Like, and obviously, Fano cut that out of us, like, cut the bounce out, stop moving your feet like that, because when you get into a 6-round, 8-round, 10-round, 12-round fight, you won't be able to do that anymore unless you're a freak like Manny Pacquiao, the whole fight. But he's basically, that's where I got my foundations from. Neil Fannin and Martin Ward. But ultimately, I turned pro because of him. So I can't thank him enough. But like I say, Tommy Ward is he's the best kept secret in boxing. Nobody wants to fight this man. Nobody. And you'd be stupid to if you wanted to, because although his record doesn't suggest that he's a puncher, I body sparred with him when I was a light heavyweight, when he first turned over. Or just before he was turned over, and I body sparred him, and he dropped us. Like, I was like, whoa, you can dig a bit. Like, he's just so fast. To answer the rest of your question is, I mate, the crop of talent that's coming through, they're all the juniors from Berkeley. Coming, sneaking through, like your Pat, your Luke, your Cyrus, your Mark Dickinson. You want to watch out for him, Mark Dickinson. He's going to do some serious damage. He's underrated him. And who else? You got Callum Frenchie. If you're watching this, I told you to go to Berkeley. I told him to go to Berkeley. I made him multiple ABA champion, GB squad, everything, and that's why I signed Eddie Hearn, because of me. So I want some of that. I deserve some of his purse, I think.
Well, moving on to you, mate. You've got a massive fight coming up in March, and I feel like it's one that you've been waiting for and deserved a little while ago, but you've got it now. And how are you feeling? Sol Dacres for the English title. How are you feeling about that, mate?
Like I said, mate, I'm not a heavyweight. Ideally, this new weight that they brought out, bridger weight, that's what I am. I'm a bridger weight. I'll do 16 stone very comfortably, and I'll be strong, explosive, shut people's lights out at 16 stone. That's what Dacres is. Listen, if you weigh between 16 and 17 stone, I'll switch your lights out. But the rest of them that are naturally, I'm only 6'1", so the rest of them, I'm not mentioning the top 3, 4, but like natural big boys. I can't do anything with them, and they're like Bridgerweight's the one for me. And when I ice Dacres, I'm gonna have a sit down with Uncle Eddie and just say, right, let's talk Bridgerweight now for me. So
the thing is,
ball in his court, see what he says.
In terms of Dacres, like for the English title, looking at his record, he hasn't really been tested. But what do you think to him going into the fight? What do you think?
What do I think of him?
To him, yeah.
I think he's a tidy fighter. I think like if you were to overlook him, then you'd be stupid. More fool you. And I think he's only stopped 1 out of 5, I believe. Which people say that he can't punch. Believe me, everyone that's got the hands wrapped and loaded that are 9 stone and above, and little 8 or 10 ounce gloves that do not tickle. I'm telling you now, he'll be able to punch. He will be able to punch, and I'm not going in underestimating that at all, thinking that he can't. But I think he puts his shots together well. But they have seriously overlooked me. They know nothing about my amateur background. They know nothing about my amateur pedigree. They don't know who I've been in with. They don't know my boxing IQ. Like, I was a pro. I turned pro in 2011. Dacres started boxing 8 years ago. Come on, mate. Come on, mate. Like, forget about the 50-odd amateur fights I've had before that. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know what they've got themselves into, but they'll find out on the 8th of March, I'm telling you.
But you mentioned that you're not naturally heavyweight and that Bridgeweight is your thing. Is it a fight, once you sit down with Uncle Eddie after the fight, is Babic the sort of person you're looking at after this?
Love it. Love that fight. I asked for that fight. I shouted for that fight. I like Alan. I like him because he actually replied to us. And he replied and he said, I respect you making, I see you put a lot of time into this, into calling me out, blah, blah, blah. Like, he said, we send us voice notes on Instagram. And he said, but you're not world ranked. There's been like, there's been a lot of time and there's been a lot of money put into my career so far. They were obviously looking to fight Oscar Rivas for the Bridgeweight world title. It's not Oscar Rivas, it's someone else. I don't know who it is, but it's been made. I don't know whether winning the English title will give us a world ranking, but I'm sure Eddie could pull some strings and get us an eliminator or something for in between, because I'm sure Alan's going to come out on top and win. But then we'll exchange phone numbers. I've got nothing against Alan. I like him. All the Geordies do as well. Why couldn't we do it at St. James's Park? Imagine that.
That would be massive.
Imagine that. Oh, like, Eddie doesn't realise the little gem that he's got in me as well. Because I've got like maybe 2 or 3 years left at this. 35 now. So wait till he sees the arena absolutely bouncing when I make my entrance, and he'll be going, whoa, where have they been hiding this kid? Like, I've done 8 grand worth of tickets in 6 or 7 days. So, and that's just the start. So that arena, I believe Cyrus is headlining. I think I'm co-main event. So I'm chief support, me and Solomon, and then when he sees that, he'd be like, oof. Then that when it's not if, when I put Solomon Dacres to sleep, then we'll sit down and he can go, ooh, maybe we could make something. Because listen, this takeover at Newcastle, it's massive. Do you know what I mean, mate? So they'd be open to doing it, no problem. I don't see, especially with Eddie Hearn and his platform. I know what Boxer were talking about doing it with Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields for the rematch, but I think she wants it in America now. But I'm quite close to Savannah. But I think they want to do it in America. So I don't know how that's going to work. But imagine that though. The Savage and the Iceman. I like the sound of it. I like the sound of it, man. Because honestly, I like you, Alan. If you're watching, I like you. I really do. And we've exchanged numbers. I wish him luck on his last fight and everything. But this is a business, and I believe I can beat you. So I would love it. Imagine that. Imagine 12-0, and then you got a 13-0, and you got a crack at a world title. The green and gold one as well, the good one, the one you want.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, it's not a dream anymore. Do you know what I mean, mate? It's not a dream anymore. It could happen. It could happen. So listen, but that's talking into the future. That's talking past Solomon Dacres.
Sorry, you froze a second there, mate. But my last question: when you beat Dacres, like you say, where do you see yourself come the end of the year, mate? What have you done?
Well, I need another one in to stay active. I need to sit down. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because I have got a listen. This is the hardest fight in my pro career as well as his.
Yeah.
But like, you can see Solomon's record's padded. Well, so is mine.
Yeah.
It's like that's how they develop prospects. It's been done since the dawn of time. But I have fought one live opponent, and he got took out in a round. So the ones that tend to come to fight get iced. So I can't. I can't, and I won't look past Dacres. But that's a conversation that I'll have to sit down with Eddie Hearn and see how we could what we can do at Bridgeway.
Well, mate, I can't.
But that's what that's what I'd love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, mate, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. I've been Lyndon Dixon. He's been Rob Ismay, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Thanks very much, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.